I'm really excited. One of my good friends came up to me this week and he told me that he just got a job teaching high math at University of Jagiellonia. So that's pretty big news. I was really excited about that. And my first thought, to be honest with you guys, was, that sounds really fun. I just imagine him, he goes up to teach his class, he's just like, guys, you know how numbers are like real, but they're also like not real? Class dismissed. Now, does anyone in here celebrate 420? Anyone? So we have some stoners and some liars in here, based off of Zinger's joke from before. So if you don't know what 420 is, it's just a weed holiday. It's a cannabis holiday. There's no specific tradition. That's all it is, really. And we call it 420 because it's an American holiday and it's on April 20th, right? So we do the dates a little bit differently. I don't really know why we do the dates differently in the US. I've always assumed it has something to do with freedom! I'm very sorry for Americaning very aggressively at you. It won't happen again, I promise you. Yeah, but I wanted to call in sick on 420 this year. But I couldn't do that because my supervisor knows I smoke weed. You might be like, how does your supervisor know you smoke weed? Well, who do you think I buy my weed from? Like seriously, I couldn't call him and be like, hey, I'm a bit sick today, I can't do this. And he's just like, yeah, sure, yeah, right. What are your symptoms? Well, my eyes are really red, and I'm hungry. Probably wouldn't go over incredibly well. I did mention that thing before about how like Americans get shit for like changing the dates a bit, which is like, you know, that's fair enough, but I think there's so much other shit you can give Americans. Yeah. Some of you are rightfully in agreement. And like, we have a big stereotype of being bad with geography, which I think is completely accurate. I went home to visit the States for the first time after I'd moved to Poland. I visit my friend Anna. Now, Anna is the most wonderful, kind person you will ever meet in your entire life. She also doesn't have two brain cells to rub together. She's one of those people. And I go, and she says, hey, Luke, how's Poland? How do you like living in Poland? I say, it's amazing. I love living in Poland. And she's like, cool. So are you learning German? I said, German, Anna? Really? She says, oh, shit, they don't speak German in Poland, do they? I said, well, they used to. But I wouldn't bring that up. I wouldn't talk about that too often. Another issue we have in the U.S. is gun violence. It's a big issue we have. We have so much gun violence in the U.S. where when my friends tell me they want to visit the U.S., or God forbid they want to live there, I always say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I had no idea you were suicidal. What's wrong? We can work on this. We will sort this out. It'll be fine. But seriously, we have a mass shooting on average of 1 a day in the US. And the reason this keeps happening is because half of the country, every time this happens, goes, oh, it's not because it's too easy to get a gun. That can't possibly be it. It's the mentally ill. The mentally ill are the problem. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm mentally ill. And I haven't killed anybody. Yet. Luke, what jokes did you tell tonight? Oh, I threatened the audience and they seemed to enjoy it. Like, I don't think I'd ever date an American, to be honest with you guys. I don't think I'd ever date an American. Because, you know, I want kids one day. And I would like my kids to speak more than one language. And, like, seriously, my dad, he came to visit, and 3 months before he came to visit, by the way, okay, very quickly, his name is Luke Dwornik, which, if you don't know, is an obscenely Polish name. He speaks no Polish whatsoever. Absolutely none. And when he came to visit, I said, Dad, you need to go on Duolingo, you need to learn all of these things, all the things that you need to know in Poland, like hi, how are you, good night, good morning, would you like to come home with me? All of the necessary things. And he told me he'd been practicing. So a week before he got here, he calls me and I respond and say, Dzień dobry, tato, jak się masz? He says, I don't know what you just said. I was pissed off because I told him to work on it. So I said, oh, spierdalaj, man. He was like, oh, hey, with the language. I said, Dad, how do you know what that means? He's like, my parents used to shout it at me all the time. Fucking dickhead. My dad noticed very quickly that most of my friends here are English. No round of applause for the English. That's curious. No, you're too late. You can't do it now. And because of this, during the Euros, the 2020 Euros between England and Italy in the final, I wanted England to win because a lot of my friends here are English. I asked almost every Polish person I know, like, who do you want to win? England or Italy? England or Italy? They all said the same thing. Italy. Everyone said Italy. And I was curious. I was like, why? Why is everyone rooting for Italy? And they all said the same thing. They said, oh, come on. You know how English football fans are. They're also racist and violent. Right. Because Polish football fans are neither of those things. Seriously, you don't see the Star of David in Krakow outside of Kazimierz or on anti-Semitic graffiti, where it's just kind of been shoehorned in the fact that the guy's also a football fan. So the guy just writes, I hate Jews. Go Wisła! It's not even fucking clever. It's not even clever. Also, I know, like, if you don't know, Wisła and Cracovia is a massive rivalry. Big derby. Very violent. And so I know people who support Wisła or Cracovia. I know people, they probably have the jerseys, they have the hats and everything. They don't wear this stuff in public. Do you know why? Because they don't want to fucking die. Seriously. A lot of my English friends here say that I don't speak English properly. My American friend in the front row is laughing. And whatever he said. And they always, like, seriously, I just think I have an accent, but to them it's preposterous. You know? I have a particular friend named Jimmy, and he's from South London. If you don't know what that accent sounds like, I'll give you a little bit of a taste of it. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah? Hello, love. How you doing? Don't ask an English person. That is completely accurate. And he always says, Luke, it's called English. We invented the language. So I always say the same thing. I say, then cool, then why does nobody understand you?
Good boy. Said it wrong, that's why.
Shh, Gabby.
Said it wrong, yes.
Gabby, I have 20 minutes.
It's wrong.
It's wrong. You're saying it wrong. That's what she's saying. Anyway, but like, oh, you fucked me up. Anyway, so my ex-girlfriend's from Spain, and so her English is really, really good, but she couldn't understand a fucking thing that Jimmy said, ever. So I would have to translate for her consistently. So like, I don't speak any Spanish, mind you, so this was just British English to something that people can actually understand. To Jimmy's credit, he noticed this immediately and just started saying the most fucked up shit he could think of. And he just went up to Alba one time and went, "Hey, Alba, I like to stick fruit up my bum." And when I didn't translate, Alba says, "What did he say? I don't understand. Ay caramba." Mind you, as a point of order, I don't think any Spanish person in the history of Spanish persons has ever said "ay caramba." I don't think that's a thing. But seriously, that's the only time I've really been able to translate. It's kind of hard to translate when you're monolingual. It's a bit hard to translate different languages, but I do speak a fair amount of Polish. In comparison to my English friends specifically, I speak a lot more most of the time, so they're always asking me to translate, which can get quite annoying. One time I'm on a tram with my friend Eddie, and this random guy, he just stands up and starts shouting at everybody on the tram. And Eddie's like, "What's he saying? What's he saying?" I said, "Dude, he's not giving you medical or financial advice. You don't need to know what he's saying, I promise you." And he said, "Oh, come on, what's he saying? What's he saying?" So I said, "Okay, fine, I'll translate." He's saying he's on his way to build a homeless shelter, which, judging by the smell and the look of this gentleman, he will then occupy. And he loves Jewish people. And go Wisła. Seriously, you don't need to know what strangers are shouting, because no random person shouting at strangers in public has ever said, "I just want to say, everybody has a right to their own opinion." Nobody has ever said that. Honestly. But you do start to see, when you start to understand Polish a bit, you start to see the dark sides of Krakow. Honestly, I was in a pub with two Polish guys, and we were talking to each other, and they started complaining to me about immigration. But they didn't mean me. They meant African people and Middle Eastern people. And this is what they said. They said the same vile shit people say all the time, like, "Oh, they're coming here, they're taking the jobs, they're having sex with our women, and they're getting drunk all the time." And I just looked at them and said, "Guys,
he's not wrong.
That's what I'm doing here. I wonder why they're okay when I do it. It's a fucking mystery, isn't it?" So I recently started going back to therapy and got back on medications. Is anyone else here crazy? Yeah. It's been awesome, but at the same time, a lot of my friends think I'm way more boring than I used to be. They're like, "Oh, Luke isn't naked and dancing on the bar. What's wrong with him? He's all stable. What a dickhead." And one of my friends is particularly upset with me. He comes up and says, "Hey, what fucking medications are you taking anyway?" And I didn't want to tell him, because it's none of his business. So I just said, "Well, one of them is a little bit like meth, and the other one is meth." A really fun psychiatrist. I believe that his office is in a broom closet in Cubano. He's a nice guy, you know. I swear to God, the first time I said that joke, my friend's girlfriend comes up to me and says, "Hey Luke, is all that true? Are you into therapy? Are you taking medication?" I said, Yeah, that's all true." She said, "Cool, so are you single?" I said, "Yeah. Obviously." She said, "Oh, you should meet my friend. She also goes to therapy and is on medication." I said, "Oh, what luck. We can go to the pharmacy together. It's going to be great." By the way, I'm a dick for that joke, because she was just trying to be nice. And I would go out with her friend. She's just way out of my league, so it's what it is. Does anyone like the gay clubs here in Krakow? Lots of women shouting for understandable reasons. No, I really like the gay clubs here in Krakow because they take care of each other. Like, if you fall asleep in a normal club like Kubanu, congratulations. That's where you're sleeping tonight. If you fall asleep in a gay club, you will wake up at home with a glass of water next to you, and someone put rain sounds on your phone so it's easier for you to fall asleep. Honestly, they take care of each other, genuinely. And so I was dancing with some of my friends at a gay club, and there was this very, very tall gentleman with high heels, making him slightly taller. And he was pole dancing. Now listen, guys, I don't know what good pole dancing looks like. I don't know what it looks like. But I can tell you, he was having the time of his fucking life. He was enjoying himself so much until he wasn't. Because one time next time I turn around, my friend Tia, who's by the way, she's like this tall, roughly. And she's a badass, so she was able to get this very large man to a couch. And I followed them out to make sure everything was okay. I said, is everything okay? She says, he looks fine. But then I look over at him and he's doing this. It's that terrible thing where your body is trying to throw up, but gravity isn't allowing it to happen. It's horrible. So she said, you have to take him to the toilet. You have to take him to the toilet. I go up to him, I'm like, okay man, what's your name? Jak masz imię? He said, Mateusz. I said, okay Mateusz, we're gonna go to the toilet, okay? He just looks me up and down. I'm not interested. Oh, you fucking knew what I meant, you scamp. Come on. Guys, thank you so much. You've been absolutely amazing.